Soon after the create, read, CRUD means create, read, update, delete. You add an opportunity, you edit an opportunity, you delete the opportunity, you view the opportunity. Go to the DB, do a select statement, check it out. That way, you are going to the extreme backend. Screen is the extreme front end. Database is the extreme backend. As a tester, don't stop at one end. This is what is called end-to-end testing, right? End-to-end testing in terms of the flow, as well as from presentation layer to the database layer. You cover all the full flow of the system. But every time if you start typing select ABC from this, join this, it will take time. Keep them ready. Even in the test case document itself, you have them ready. Cut and paste. Soon after the test, cut and paste that query. Then execute it, see the records. Most importantly, database produces logs. If there is a violation of constraint, if something is not correct, database will produce error log or exception log. Every hour of your testing, go to the log file, check for exceptions. Many people don't do that. You need to go to the exceptions and then test it. That means you are bringing out internal issues of the system, not just based on the screen. And this point I have already told, to test all your reports, have pre-populated SQL queries. Have them in a .SQL file. Rather than entering data through the screen, just enter them through the backend, generate the report, see if the data is correct. That will make you. There are a lot of checklist items. I don't deny that. This is a huge list, right? But all I'm looking at is start with 1 or 2 items. In 3 months, say first 2 weeks, follow this rule. Next 2 weeks, follow this rule. Next 2 weeks, follow this rule. Within a month, you will gain amazing expertise. That's exactly what we want from you. So take a few steps forward, then you can obviously do wonders. Okay. One more thing. I was talking about this part, system testers in unit testing. What happens is, if you are close to the development team, many times developers issue the build in a hurry. First 1 hour of testing is stopped because of showstopper issues, because of a very, very tiny configuration issue or a hard coding issue. In fact, last week in our organization, we got one build. There was some hard coded issue. The developer gave the build and that person went on leave. Within 2 hours we installed it, it didn't install. It didn't work. Then we found out it's a hard coding issue. But had we caught that, you would have tested it during his absence also. But we didn't do. That's a problem. So instead, to prevent some of the issues, what we would suggest, if you sit closer to the development team, before the development team releases a build, right? Sit with them directly onto the development environment. Basic test, maybe for half an hour. Do very, very important tests, right? Check whether those things are working, so that a small issue that can potentially break the flow can be found out. Otherwise, you get the build, then you call for a meeting, then you install the build, every tester is ready, testing stops, every tester is stopped. Don't get into the situation. That means one small petty issue pulls down the time of everybody. So the system testers, just let them spend half an hour to 1 hour before the build is released. Sit with the developers, no harm. Because in agile environment, right, we are talking about a pretty close, tight integration between development team and testing team. So you may even have to automate the unit testing, but at least sit with them, work before the build is released. So in that case, the development versus test environment, that kind of a problems may be eliminated. Configuration related problems may be eliminated. So that is these are all the things that I have planned for the day. Net, try to use your free buffer, people. Try to use a collaboration tool across your organization to test your product from cross projects. Do not restrict yourself to functional testing alone. Include yourself in performance testing and performance engineering so that one tester can do OQ, IQ as well as PQ, right? I have got some queries. Let me try to answer these queries. This one. I'm just going through the queries. Buffer testers may not have a good knowledge, yes, but unassumingly they do the test. The reason why we are including buffer testers is in another 2 weeks, right? If you involve them now, in 2 weeks they gain the speed. So you need to allow the time. So you are internally training, on the job training, almost like getting those people exposed to the domain. But without exposing, maybe the first round will be difficult for them. Second round onwards, they will feel better. Right? How do we decide how many users to require the performance of the system? This is an interesting question. Very simple. What's your customer base? Suppose my customer base I'm expecting, because a bank is there, bank knows how many customers are there. Only 10% of them will be online. Out of the 10% of online users, only 10% will be concurrent. That means if I have 100,000 customers, 10% of it is 10,000. Only 10,000 customers may be online. Of that, only 1,000 users will be concurrent. So for every 100 customer, you may have only one concurrent user in the system. So use that thumb rule to determine the number of users. Your product looks interesting. Yes, QA Monitor as well as our custom scripting tools. QA Monitor is available for companies. You can look at it www.qamonitor.net. In fact, someone was asking about what was Kanban card. This is an interesting area where you will find it extremely useful. This is a Kanban is a Toyota way of managing simple tasks. Okay, let me show you. It's a very, very simple task management system, and you can get amazing productivity across the teams. Okay. Right. 1 second. Let me go to the Kanban cards. Okay. I'll show you what it is. It's like a sticky note. You try to have a sticky note. You may have multiple boards. Okay. And you can have multiple status codes. Okay. Now this is like a board, and each one is like a status. Okay. Let me have this. This is like a status. Now I can add a card. Do webinar. Then I save this one, right? Assuming this is open, work in progress, and close. These are all the status. You can have any name for this, and just drag and drop, and from one status to another status, drag and drop. And the moment you click on it, you can have a detailed checklist or a comment, and you can have a checklist also. Suppose you want to have a checklist tools, then if you have this thing, and to remember whether you have corrected it or not, you can use this checklist. A very simple sticky note kind of a task management system that you can use across your company. That's Kanban cards. And there are other. Is it possible to do performance testing manually? No. Performance testing without the tools, it's almost impossible. Can we run the scripts through your tool? Yes, we will be releasing our own custom script tools, but not for free purposes, only for commercial purposes we will be doing that. There's an interesting question, how much of testing effort we should do. People start with 20% for system testing, but they end up at 40% because they don't do proper documentation, they don't have proper communication and collaboration. So they start with 20. So ultimately testing takes more than 1/3 of the complete SDLC cycle. This is a problem. In your second slide, you said tools are luxury items. Company is not ready to buy. There are some performance testing tools which are free of cost, like JMeter. But the thing is, you need to be very good in terms of how to use those tools. Whereas commercial products may come with the price tag, but the usability will be very good, right? So that is why people may tend to go for commercial licenses. Okay. And can we use 3 or 4 tools for performance testing? I don't understand, but you can still zero in on one. Better to do with one. That way it will be good. There is one question: why should a functional tester responsible for performance? Thing is that I want people to get elevated. Don't get stuck only in functional testing. Okay. Performance testing are holy grails, and as the internet is growing and growing, performance testing are bread and butter of most of the testing projects. So elevate yourself to that level. There is a question from youtube.com and from openmentor.net. Can I download? It's anyway free, so you don't have to download it. So you can use it whenever you want. Then there is another question. How do we know whether this is uploaded into openmentor.net? Yes, from our side, you will get a notification through email that this webinar is uploaded. So you will get an email notification from us once this is uploaded. Okay. There are people asking, I think, a couple of questions. When can we get an exclusive webinar on performance testing? We would like to do that. Probably we'll look into a couple of weeks from now. We'll be happy to do that. Exclusive webinars on performance test. We'll do that. There is a question: in most of the applications, if there are 100 features, only 10 to 20% are used. Rest of them, yes, this is true. Let us take Excel. How much of Excel we are using? If you take the formula, there are roughly about 300 commands available. Most of the time we use sum or count or average. Beyond that we don't use. Very few times we use if then else conditions within Excel. Same way, almost like we use only 10, not even 10% of the features. But you need to ask the customers what is the most frequently used scenario. Let us take a bank. Account creation, is it happening more than the deposits and withdrawals? Or is deposit happening more than withdrawals? Is account checking being done more than the withdrawals? So if you look at the number of times it is being done, obviously you will have a number, right? Very simple. Same for email also. Viewing inbox is done always. Reading mail is done always. More than reading mails, composing is not that much. Composition of new mail is less. Replying is less than new mails or viewing mails. Forwarding is less than. If you do more forwards than reading, then you are spamming, right? So obviously, the number of times it is being used from the business case, practically if you speak, you can identify those frequently used scenarios or not. Accordingly, you can use, right? Okay. There is a person who is asking, QA Monitor is being on the cloud. I'm not able to use it because of the cloud for security reasons. You don't have to worry about, sir, because when you are using Gmail, it is also on the cloud, right? And you use QA Monitor, and this is fully secured. If you see here over a lock sign, HTTPS. So the moment you are using HTTPS, all your data are encrypted and all your data are secured in Amazon servers. So Amazon is fully secured with firewalls and other stuff. So you don't have to worry about that security feature. Okay. And there's another question that I'm seeing is, can we integrate JMeter with AppDynamics? These are two different tools. A performance testing tool will send requests to the application. A performance engineering tool will collect statistics from the backend. So when somebody is sending the information, AppDynamics collects details at the other side. They are independent, and AppDynamics is not free. It comes with a cost. But AppDynamics also has an eval version and light version which is free, right? Someone is asking what is WinWin CRM? WinWin CRM is SoftSmith's CRM product. And a few more questions. Which open source is available for client server application? To my knowledge, as long as it is HTTP, you can use JMeter by monitoring the port, but I'm not sure which tool is for typical rich client application. Do we have to know SQL? I would say better. Why should we restrict? Again, remember Swami Vivekananda's words. You have all the potential in you. You can do all the things that the whole world can do. Think that way. So you have potential. The more you know, the more you can grow and the more you can contribute to the company as well as to the customers. So please think in that way, increase your potentials. That's what I would like to convey. Can I use QA Monitor for my company? Yes, absolutely. You can. If you want a specific instance like we are using QAMonitorSoft.com like /QAM SoftSmith, with your company name also we can create QAM your company name. You can use it. It's fully secure. You can. All you need to do is just send us a mail. We will create that and then give that information to you. Can we have trial version? Yes. You can go to the QAMonitor.net site and then register for 30 days trial for one project. If you want to have for your company, send us a mail from your company email, and for up to 10 users it is free. So for up to 10 users it doesn't even expire, so you can use that forever. Absolutely no issues on that. Cool. So I think we come to an end almost for the webinar, and I thank you all for attending this one. Very happy to get connected to you all over this weekend. This will be uploaded into the Open Mentor portal as well as in the youtube.com/free Open Mentor. Just before winding up, just ask one question. Did we learn something new today? If so, can you please raise the hands? Wow, good. So all I want is every day is a learning day from openmentor.net. And learning never ends. Thanks for your time, and we will upload this webinar over the weekend and you will get email notifications from us. With that, I'll be winding up this webinar. Thank you.